Well, hello and welcome to the show, everybody. It's time. All right, we're gonna not be in here too long tonight. Just gonna cover a few topics, because as you know, something is always going on with with politics, right?
Yeah.
So we just gonna cover a few topics. We're not gonna keep y'all too long, cause both me something out here. Cause both Tim and I both kind of wrapped up in kind of
Serious.
wrapped up in a couple of series that we like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we want to get back to watching that. He just told me about a new one that he's watching. I got about 20 more minutes left on the one that I'm watching, and so I'm gonna switch over to the one he's watching. Uh, right after my 20 minutes expire.
Yeah.
Uh huh. So let's see if I can get this chat box to work again. Um, it still won't work. I did contact the studio about it, and they're not. Let me see if I can do this. Maybe if I change that, they still don't know why it's not working. But at any rate, um, we got our ticker tape going. That's all we need for tonight.
Mm.
Okay, so
Okay.
we are live, and hold on, it's coming up twice. Okay, got that. I took that one out. Okay, I didn't want to refresh the screen because I don't think too many people are gonna be chatting anyway. It's not worth me refreshing and having a blackout for a few seconds.
Yeah.
So I want to start out with local.
Okay.
One thing I guess we've been had a lot of shootings, a lot of crime in our city here in Memphis, and our news reporters, our news channels, especially Fox 13, I get so sick of them. Every time somebody gets shot, if they're not dead and they're not in critical condition, the news anchor person or persons will say, and they are expected to be okay. I can say
Mm-hmm.
that. If you get shot, you're not okay. Okay? I wish they would stop saying that. They, you know why they're saying that, right? Because they don't want lawsuits and they try to make it something smaller than it really is. But no, when a person gets shot, they not okay. And y'all need to stop saying they're expected to be okay or they're expected to recover. Y'all do not know that because even though they may recover physically, they not may not recover mentally. So that's not okay. What do you say, Tim?
Well, I can't agree on both sides. It's unfortunate that, like you say, we have as much crime as we do have. Crime is everywhere. However, we got a little bit more going on than the regulars. I think on one hand they're saying it because it's so many that they have to report on. Now you're not gonna be okay after you get shot. But their distinction, I believe, is because it's so many homicides. Uh, they think that people would like to know: is that person deceased or is that person expected to
Well,
recover?
they usually say that anyway. But if they, because they'll say killed or they'll say um, critical, in critical
Mm-hmm.
condition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know that those two people are not going to be okay right now.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
but if they just shot and not one of the two I just mentioned, they always say, but they're expected to be okay or they're expected to recover. I don't care what y'all expect or what they telling y'all to expect. Y'all need to stop saying that because you don't know that. That's not true. You're actually saying a lie because you
Yeah.
don't know whether or not they're going to be okay or not. And whoever told you that to say that don't know either.
Well, let me ask you this: what would you have them say?
I would say we hope. I would say if they're going to want to say expect to recover or expect to be okay, They should say, "Well, we hope that they will be okay."
It is that not kind of two in the same though?
No, it's not. Expected and hope are two different things. Expected is something certain because it's like if you're expecting a date to show up at dinner and they normally show up, right? That's expected.
Uh-huh.
If a mother's gonna have a baby, that's expected. And though nowadays though it's really not certain, but the normalcy is that that baby is expected to be born within 7 to 9 months, right?
Well, I could be expecting to get a raise.
Yeah.
Now, how many of us got a story behind how that didn't work out?
Yeah, okay, you got me on that one. I have to agree. I guess it depends on the situation. I guess we'll
Yeah,
put it that way.
yeah. But
That's what I
I
think.
understand exactly what you're saying, though. I get it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
people be so nosy, they would be wanting to know, did it make it or did it? I think it's more out of being nosy than it is being concerned.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you say they expect it to be okay, we forget about that person.
Mm-hmm.
But because
Yeah,
you said because the news say they expect it to be okay, you see what I'm saying?
yeah.
But that person might not be okay.
They might not be. You're right. Yeah,
And
yeah, you're right.
I think that prevents the public from keeping that person in their prayers,
Yeah,
even if they don't know that person. You know what I'm saying?
right.
From that aspect of it.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm
That can go either way. I get it.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh no, let's see what else. Oh, actually, locally, I think that's all I really wanted to talk about because we're not going to be here that long. Some more local stuff going on, but I want to go ahead and get to some national and international news.
Okay.
Okay, national news is that Elon Musk supposed to have left the administration, Trump administration, and has left Doge. So, and it's supposed to have happened Monday. So let's see what was said.
Tonight, Elon Musk leaving the Trump administration after pushing back on President Trump's latest signature legislation, a multi-trillion-dollar spending package that the tech mogul says contradicts their own goal of the Department of Government Efficiency, reducing the federal government size.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
House Republicans had championed the bill and formally titled it the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It promises to cut federal expenditures by $1.5 trillion, with major reductions to programs like Medicaid and food assistance. But not everyone agrees with that calculation. The Congressional Budget Office warns the legislation could actually increase the national deficit by as much as $3.8 trillion over the next decade.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
Lawmakers who back the bill are now facing tough questions from their own constituents. At a town hall meeting, Nebraska Congressman Mike Flood acknowledged he wasn't fully aware of everything included in the legislation when he cast his vote.
This provision was unknown to me when I voted for the bill.
And late this afternoon at the White House, President Trump was asked about Musk's criticism. He too admitted he doesn't love everything in the package, though he stood by the bill overall, which extends the 2017 tax cuts and includes nearly $50 billion to restart construction on the southern border wall.
I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill.
Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, Tim, what you think about the big beautiful bill?
Well, here's the thing. The thing about it is just simply this: no one likes what one president, everything that they do. Is not realistic. And that's the fact of the matter. But my question is it more good in there versus bad? Sometimes those bills, as you well know, Mom, can be thousands and thousands of pages. It just depends on how big the bill is. So, do everybody know exactly what's in every bill? I don't think so. I think they take key points out,
Mm-hmm.
and according to their party is how they vote.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no president would we agree with everything that president does. But I tell you one thing, and I keep going back to it because it's never happened before. This man has done more within the first 100 days. We're a little over that now than any president that I in my lifetime. And I'm 54. So have you seen any presidents do as quick as moves as he did when they first came into office?
No, I have to say no. I have to agree.
Okay.
I do agree.
Well, there go another generation right there. Your generation, my generation. It's never been seen or done before.
True.
Yeah. But here's the thing about it. And if people don't know this, keep on living. Sometimes they have to get a little bad before it can get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's normally how it kind of works. But his is not too bad because there's a whole lot of other things that he could be doing that's really, really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my situation on it is that no president that we have, whether it's Democrat or Republican, that people are gonna like everything that they do. That's just not realistic.
Yeah. And what's so amusing about it is his friends, his politician Republicans, like the ones standing at the town hall meeting. It was unknown to me
Yeah,
when I voted for
yeah,
him. Why?
yeah,
The
yeah.
only reason why it's unknown to them, and let me just make this perfectly clear, y'all, is because they don't take time to read those 500, 600,
Correct,
700, 800 pages
correct.
of the bill, and I think this bill had over 1,000 pages.
Told you,
So
yeah.
it's not that it's not unknown. They just didn't
Look,
take time to read it.
yeah. I mean, because look, they coming in and saying which way are we voting? Are we
Mm,
voting yay or nay?
yeah,
They ask their part, the question of are they party members? How we voting on this?
yeah,
You
they
know,
vote yeah, but they vote yeah without reading.
but
And
yeah,
then when
without
they get in
reading.
the front of the people and people confront them
Yeah.
about it, they mad about it. Then their excuse is, "Well, it was unknown to me." No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just
yeah,
didn't take time to read it. You lazy politician, two faced, unrespectful music has you
yeah.
thinking, daddy.
They say those politicians, they say them politicians will take a lollipop from a child, from a
They
baby.
will. They will. Trump gonna get him though when it's
Look, he ain't said nothing wrong because it hadn't been me, I probably would have said the same thing.
if you hadn't read it, that's all you can say,
Look,
right?
I'm not sitting down reading no 500 pages of nothing.
This one was over 1,000, almost 2,000 pages.
Definitely not 1,000 pages. Do you know how hard my job would have to be in order to read every bill?
Well, some politicians do though. They take their time and read it because
Either that or I got my
they've had the bill for like 3 months to look at it. So I mean, you can go through 1,000 pages in 3 months, but they're just lazy. They don't want to do it, and half
yeah.
of them can't read anyway.
Yeah, when
Believe
it
it or
comes,
not, a lot of them old ones up there, they can't read
and I
anyway.
ain't gonna read. That's the point. Why y'all think stuff been messed up?
Can't read and ain't gonna
And
read.
I ain't gonna read. And some of them will tell you to your face that they ain't gonna read, depending on
That's,
how long they've been there.
that's
But
true.
here's the thing: that's just let us know how messed up things have been because you have people on in the parties. I think what the oldest like 85 or something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know good and well that man ain't finna read nothing. How long hasn't he been reading anything? He
Not
got trouble.
never.
Look, he got trouble reading the directions on his medication.
You know it, don't you?
Yeah.
You gotta have a magnifying glass like mama. Be like Sherlock Holmes, right?
That's too much work.
All right then. Well, internationally,
Okay.
They finally let some food aid into Gaza, but not near enough, no, naturally, and they still burning. So it's still crazy over there. But the rumor is, and word is that Trump had a heated phone call with Netanyahu and yelled at him. But the funny thing about it is, he didn't yell at him about Gaza and the war. He was yelling at him about Iran and the war. So I find fault with that because he yelled about Putin. He was on the news. I don't know what's gone wrong with him. He just gone crazy, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Well, we saying the same thing about your crazy but friend Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu, BB been crazy. So you supposed to know what's wrong with him, huh? But you don't know what's wrong with Putin. Let's take a listen.
President Trump extends his greetings and his grief to all of you, and he stands with you as we fight this hatred in the world. following the horrific terrorist attacks in Washington, D.C. that took the lives of Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lynchinsky, President Trump asked me to come here to Israel, to stand with all of you and to honor Sarah and Yaron. Today we stand together with profound grief, and our hearts are heavy with the loss of these two radiant souls that we will no longer have with us. Their lives were so full of promise and love and dedication, and may they be an inspiration to us of how to live our daily lives as well.
I want to thank Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, for her important visit to Israel. This visit, after the horrific murder of Yaron Lynchinsky and Sarah Lynn Milgram in Washington, shows solidarity and demonstrates the close relations between our people. Our hearts break for this loss of young, promising lives. I want to thank you personally, Secretary Noem, and all the branches of the administration involved for the intensive investigation underway. Secretary, I also thank you for your long-standing support for Israel. President Trump and his administration show great commitment to fighting terrorism and anti-Semitism. I believe your visit here is part of it. We truly appreciate that.
Well, all right then. So, Trump and Netanyahu worry about Iran. Meanwhile, Iran is not studying them. They do not um, bow to bullying or bluffs. And this young man here gave a really good report on the update on Iran's position and about what they think about Netanyahu and Trump. Listen to this.
New war warnings coming out today, May 26, 2025, as we are hearing that Iran is threatening to attack Israel. And this as we've got new mixed updates regarding the nuclear talks between the United States and Iran. Now, go ahead and take a look at the latest headlines with me so that way you can see it for yourself. Here you can see coming out today, Iran threatens a strike on Israel as the U.S. talks hang in the balance. Now, also, the Supreme Leader calls for Iranian and Pakistani joint efforts against Israel, saying we need to unify and attack the nation of Israel. Netanyahu and Trump, they have a phone call on Iran, and it was marked with a heated disagreement. The United States and Israel not seeing eye to eye right now. And take a look, Iran steps up military posturing as nuclear talks stall. Israel threatens as well. And also, you can see here, Iran rejects a temporary freeze on enrichment, says it's not worried about sanctions. The day after Trump hits at an agreement that it may be imminent, Tehran's foreign minister says their intermittent deal is not on the table, while President says Tehran will survive even if the talks fall apart. They are saying we're still moving forward even if there is no deal. We will survive, and this is coming after we're getting mixed signals as Trump is coming out and saying there has been a lot of progress. Iran is saying another story. We're going to be seeing as new war threats are coming out. So I'm going to dive into the latest information and the details so that way you can see it for yourself. And in addition to that, now we're going to be focusing on what's going on right now with Iran and Israel and the nuclear deal and potential war and fallout there. But also, if you didn't hear, a lot going on today as well, May 26, 2025. Take a look. Trump calls Putin absolutely crazy following Russia's latest barrage on Ukraine. You can see this coming out today as well. So we got conflicts in the Middle East, and we've got conflicts taking place with Russia and Ukraine. And the Russia and Ukraine, it is escalating. So we're going to dive into the details. I'm going to share with you the latest so you know exactly what is going on now.
All right, we got enough of that. Yeah. So Trump has managed to get everybody in the Middle East upset with him except the Arabs. Well, the Arabs are chickens, so they're not going to be on nobody's side. When the time for the fighting start, all they're going to do is run somewhere and hide, get in a safe place. I can tell you that right now. But Trump doesn't know that. He thinks that they got to come to his rescue. but they won't.
Yeah,
All you gotta do is follow history.
the one thing that I have never seen President Trump even give a second thought to. I don't understand what the reasoning is, but it's non-negotiable, and it's that Iran shall never have a nuclear weapon.
Hmm.
He has stood on that, and I think even in his first presidency, it was the same way. I don't know what and why, but normally Trump will give he didn't give no reason for it. He won't give a reason for it.
Well, I know the reason.
It's not for negotiation.
I'll tell you the reason when you finish.
Zero. Well, enlighten us then.
The reason is because Bibi Netanyahu is his friend, and Bibi Netanyahu is Prime Minister of Israel, and Trump is a avid supporter and follower and server of
Mm-hmm.
Israel.
Mm-hmm.
But Iran could wipe Israel out in a matter of a couple of hours. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Well,
Do you remember
here's my
last year
thing.
when they sent 300 barrage missiles over there to Israel just to show Israel? Iran did just to show Israel what kind of might and power they had with their missiles and ballistic missiles and drones. Yeah, they didn't try to kill them. They just, did took out some
Well,
a few little targets and warehouses and stuff like that. But they didn't even know it was Well, they knew it was coming, but not in time enough to really prepare for it. But they did. The United States, Biden was in then, and Biden gave Iran permission to go ahead and fire those missiles over there too. So that's the reason why, because they can be wiped out in a matter of a few hours.
but you know what? If we're having negotiations, I'm talking about Iran now.
Mm,
If you're not allowing me to have the same weapons for its nuclear as another country, what are you going to do to protect my country?
that's right. That's the reason why Putin said, for Russia, said Iran need to have nuclear weapons like everybody else. China got them. United States got them. He got them. They supposed to have them too. Israel got them. So why can't they have them?
I don't know. Everybody got them, but
Yeah. So that's the craziness of it, right?
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
that's the reason why Trump and the United States doesn't want Iran to have them, because they know that would wipe out Israel, because they know that Iran is a born enemy of Israel. And now Iran and China and Russia have combined their defenses and their partnerships, and Putin don't like Israel either, and President Xi in China don't really care for him that much either. So they're with Iran.
mm.
And say Trump has been running over to Saudi Arabia thinking he'll get some help from the Arabs. Arabs not gonna help you. Help like they can't do one thing to help the United States. But no, they can't help us with nothing but oil. That's oil.
They put a money deal on the table though, if I'm not mistaken.
The money for what? They're not gonna help us when nuclear bombs coming over here.
No, no, you're right. I mean, it's not
They're
in
not
that
gonna
era.
send no. They're not gonna send no soldiers to help fight no military war.
No, no, with this war thing, I tell you, it's so ugly and so bad. It's like, I don't know, like being in a cage fighting match to where it's to the death
Mhm.
because it's been so much bloodshed.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, ain't nothing Trump can do. That's
Mm-mm.
why he kind of stepped out the way. He would have liked to made them come to a deal. But once he found out what was really going on and they were dug in and bit in the way that they were, it's gonna have to go to the bitter end. It's unfortunate. I know that's not what we want, but it's
You
gonna have to go to the bitter end.
you're talking about Gaza, right?
Yeah, I'm talking
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
yeah. It's ugly. It's been ugly. Probably one of the nastiest we've ever seen.
Well, I tell you one thing: if Iran go ahead and attack Israel, that'll stop the war. That'll stop
Well,
the
yeah,
Gaza war.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so much. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then I tell you another reason why it's a lot, because for 4 years, we had, as the public, we the people had no clue of what was going on other than what we saw on the news. And like you say, we weren't watching the other news like you watch. We were just watching the local news, right? So the
Right.
president was absent for 4 years. Biden was sleeping, and they were using the auto pen or whatever to sign off on documents.
Yeah.
But we just not realizing how much we missed.
Left out in the dark.
Yeah. You know what I mean? We knew absolutely
And
nothing.
the local news still don't talk about it. As far
They
as that's
don't.
concerned.
They don't. Yeah, they won't touch that.
Mm-mm.
No, they won't touch that over here.
No.
Nope.
They want you to stay dumb because they don't want people panicking. But see, the reason why people need to know is so people can prepare. People can prepare, you know.
Well, I don't know what they're panicking for, because it's only a short matter of time before our friends up above come down. They already said they're coming down.
The aliens.
It's just a question of when. They already, a lot of them are already, like the hybrids, they're already walking amongst us.
Already,
they
yeah.
have these programs where now the women can go in, not only pick the race, the sex, they can pick all the way down to the eye color and things of that nature.
Yeah,
So hybrids is not a far stretch, because in reality it's already being done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But the problem with that is that unfortunately some of the aliens are in power in these different countries.
True.
And that's why you problem. That's why you got all this friction going on. That's why negotiations just don't work.
Yeah, because if you look at it from a movie a perspective, it's like the whole galaxy at war.
Yeah,
you know,
it is. The whole earth is at war. You're
yeah.
absolutely right.
So,
woo,
yeah,
so much it just makes you tired talking about
it's
it.
a lot. It's a lot, and I mean we're getting it. That's one reason why when Trump got in and they started moving as fast as they were moving, it took us by storm, because we was in those 4 years with Biden, we got used to no movement.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So to actually see somebody come in and do the job that they were voted to do was unheard of and unseen. But yeah, man, it's a lot. It's a lot, and unfortunately, it's gonna get worse.
Yeah,
it's gonna get worse.
Yep, unfortunately,
because those two, it ain't no talking to. They're not coming to no type of agreement, no table sit downs, none of that.
Putin is not talking. No, Putin got fell out with Trump. Iran has fallen out with Trump. China has fallen out with Trump. The only friend he has got is BB.
I mean, that's to be expected.
He's about to fall out with him.
Well, that's to be expected when you put tariffs.
Well, the tariffs have been blocked.
I saw that.
I was going to close.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw that.
No, that was a note. That's okay. Because we're closing now anyway. But yeah, that was the latest news. The federal courts ruled that he can't raise tariffs. So we'll see. He'll have to appeal it. But for now, the tariffs have to go back to where they were.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good for us with our shopping. For our shopping too, because we like to shop from our Chinese partners, don't we?
Yeah.
And they had already raised their prices a little bit, so hopefully their prices will go back to normal and go back low.
We'll definitely find out. That's for sure.
Yes, time will tell. And as President George W. Bush used to say, well. And we got close on that note. Closing remarks, Tim.
Short and sweet with good information. You can have a ball always with us on Thursdays.
Y'all sure can, because we make politics fun.
Oh yeah.
And if you think politics boring, you haven't watched Pearl Politics. So share the show with your friends and tell them come on in and get some laughs with us because while it ain't funny, it really is.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
All right, then. That's our show for tonight. Thank y'all.